Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Crouch Peak podcast. As always, a part of the Does2 network. I am your host, Lucas. You can find me on Twitter at Lucas at Does2. And you can follow this lovely podcast at Crouch_Peak. Of course, both of those on Twitter. So follow us on those platforms. Love it. We have some good stuff to discuss today. I'm really excited. We're like right on the brink of everything getting back going. Counter-Strike is back in full cycle. We have advanced competition kicking off tonight. We had some yesterday as well. And we are like right there. I'm super excited. It's been a long break. Of course, good stuff happened, but nothing better than the action. So in case you did not catch it at the beginning of this month, we unveiled 2 monthly articles that we do every single time at the beginning of each month, that being the Does2 rankings and that being the team of the month. So in case you didn't catch those, you can find them at does2.us along with every other article I'm pretty much ever going to mention. But starting with the Does2 rankings, we saw the biggest shift come from 00 Nation. They jumped 13 spots last month. Good Lord, talk about progress. They managed wins over Imperial, Astralis, and Furia last month. They took Liquid to 3 maps. Just all in all, a good month for them. Good first month. Honestly, when you look at the other side of the Does2 rankings, nobody really dropped drastically. We saw MIBR in Pain drop 2 spots, but other than that, that was pretty much it. Nothing too crazy. And heading into, that month of the break, we kind of just had some pretty standard movement besides 00 Nation, honestly. After Cologne, nothing too exciting. So entering August, at the end of July, your top 5 was Furia, Liquid, 00 Nation, Complexity, and Imperial. For the rest of the top 10 and everything else that pertains to the top 10 teams, you can catch that article as well as everything else that we do on does2.us. So go ahead and tune into that. And of course, we have a nice little top 10 section that we have right at the top of the page. So go ahead and check that out too. Also on the website this month is our team of the month. And this is a personal favorite of mine. If you have not caught this article, I implore you to tune in, at least check out maybe this last one. If you don't know what it is, pretty self-explanatory. We give out an award of sorts to commemorate the 5 best players of our region. We try and highlight ECL talent, advanced talent alongside Tier 1 talent, so covering all echelons of NACS. And of course, we give an award to the coach for the coach of the month. So if you did not catch this month's award, you can catch that on does2.us, of course. But just to fill you in on this month's team, we have Twists, who has been topping the list every single time, basically. Off the top of my head, I think he has been on every single one. It's his 3rd time. Joining him is Elige, former teammate. That's his debut in July, coincidentally, which is surprising, actually. And everybody else after Elige as well is a debutant. So shout out to Pesadelo of 1, Snav of Timberman, Umar of Electrify Steel, and last but not least, the coach, Mr. Daps of Liquid. So congratulations to those 6 individuals that made the team of the month. And you can catch up to every single month's team rankings and team of the month at does2.us. So check those out whenever you can. We try and release them the 1st and then the 2nd of each month. And so far, so good. We've been consistent in that. And stay tuned and get your fill. Headlining the shuffles, to nobody's surprise, of course, is the ever-active Evil Geniuses. This brand was all over the news cycles during the player break, for better, for worse, most of which was for worse. And now that they're on the other side of it, they have done some intra-roster swapping as well as some outside additions to be made. Not long after the transition to EGCD, we caught wind of Klasia's removal from the project entirely, which is shocking. Most of these individuals have been kind of just expected to be shifted between rosters, kind of picked and, plopped in between. Not so much for Klasia. He's been completely removed for the purpose being attitude problems. Where he goes next, who knows, but he's not the topic here. EG is. Also leaving EGCD is fan favorite Hex, but he is not being removed. in a sense, he's actually being promoted. So he's one of the first promotions, I believe, actually the first promotion, a part of this Blueprint project. He is now a part of the main roster. So filling his void, as far as EGCD are concerned, is Rush and Stanislaw. So they'll be filling in for Klasia and Hext. Those two, of course, having experience with one another as a part of Optic. They won Season 2 E-League. And, of course, they are very well tenured as far as NA veterans are concerned. So, yeah, nice welcome additions for that side of EG. I think they're going to do pretty well considering the other three talents are like significantly less experienced than them. So I think they'll do nice to help benefit those players and as well as probably learn some stuff themselves from some fresher minds. The outside addition that I was talking about, which was certainly a surprise to me, was Kazakhstani in-game leader Nealon, famously of K23 and Simon, of course, most recently with K23. I know a bit about him, not too much, but mostly from an overview standpoint. I know that he's young-ish, 22, 23 years old, comes from a tough region, and did relatively well individually as an in-game leader. So that's exciting. I don't know necessarily how he calls. I don't know what his bread and butter is, but I can imagine there will be aggression just based on the region he's from. The one uncertainty that I carry about the move is he hasn't been to a LAN in 3 years, at least not an official recorded LAN on HLTV, and he doesn't have much experience inside of the top 20. So the general inexperience does alarm me in that regard. The one caveat to that is it's not necessarily a huge cause for concern because, again, EG are undergoing a massive project and the state of it as well. So it's not like they're a hotbed for LAN invites and stuff like that, barring like the standard Louvre agreement and stuff like that. So, it's not like a huge cause for concern, but it is a concern. So I think it's warranted, just nothing that should ring alarm bells in that regard. As far as what he will bring, of course, time will tell. But I can say that Vorborg of Copenhagen Flames Glory, he's coming to EG to help steer the ship in that regard. And of course, Malik is back. So we have what is perceived to be hopefully some stability coming to EG. We don't know. Obviously, time will tell. So we'll have to just see how that goes. But on paper, this is exciting. I hope they don't make too much of a habit of picking more players from the outskirts just because they already started with 15. I know that they lost 2, so bringing in Nealon isn't a huge issue. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. All in all, I am optimistic about it, certainly. Moving on to ESEA League action, I reached out to Advanced Talent ahead of Season 42's games and asked them to list out their top 10 players before the start of the season. So basically a preseason player rankings voted by each other. You can find this article on dust2.us also, and for the full breakdown, you can find all the good reedy parts and just kind of how the rankings were laid out and everything. But just kind of pushing through just the rankings in case you already saw it or if you just want to catch a glimpse of it. I have them here for you. Number 10, we have Slugi. Number 9, we have Wu. Number 8, Scar. Number 7, Calyx. 6, Alvin. 5, Sezi or Seziwana. 4, Stamina. 3, Ajax. 2, Umar. And topping the charts is JBA. So congratulations to those 10 players who were voted by their peers as the best 10 talents in Advanced for Season 42. Congratulations to Limitless for having 3 players on the list, as the only team to have multiple players on the list as well. And congratulations to JBA for earning that number 1 spot. So lots of talent here on this list. And yeah, honestly, this was just exciting stuff. I implore everybody to go read it. There's a lot of good stuff in those articles. And yeah, it's just pretty cool to see Limitless, have 3 players represent them, just to see such a stacked team. ahead of season 42, which kind of brings me into the next chunk of conversation, which of course is season 42, looking at advanced and ECL. Who do I see as favorites looking ahead of these games? For me, on the advanced side, it is a no-brainer. You look at Limitless; these guys stand head and shoulders above everybody as favorites. As I mentioned, 3 top 10 players as voted by peers. So these are fellow advanced players that believe this to be true, not just me, but the individuals in the servers with these players. And that includes Stamina. He's the hottest in-game leader prospect, hottest commodity at IGL outside of Tier 1. Of course, what he was able to do at Strife was something special for that time being. Him and the other 2 top 10 players, like having 2 other top 10 voted talents with you, already being a reputable in-game leader, that just makes everything even more excitable, obviously. He took Strife to ECL. He got them to retain their place, and then now he's at Limitless. And all things considered, he looks poised to take Limitless to ECL with those 2 solid talents, Scar and JBA. So besides them, I look at Electrify Steel. They've done upgrades around Umar, who was rated number 2 in this top 10. They look like an org that are taking this division seriously. They've done some stuff outside of the server, doing like some hub stuff, which is pretty cool. So it shows that they're interested in laying a foundation for the organization in this division of CS, which is nice to see. And I'm hoping that they'll show that this season. And lastly, I like Eclectic HQ. Over on that side, I like what Cajun does as the in-game leader and what Wu is doing as an opper. One of the best oppers in advanced, as you can tell. Had, I believe off the top of my head, he had the most op frags last season, so that's certainly something worth noting. And yeah, he's one of the more dominant forces with the big green in this league, and I look forward to him showing that off, and I look forward to Cajun showing himself off as an esteemed in-game leader. So shout out to those guys heading into advanced. Those are the teams that I think are leaders to take the cake. And when I look at ECL, I'm looking at ATK to finally hit the next level. They had like a stunning 2-month tenure to close out the season. Yeah, they've just got a bunch of studs on their squad. Bowden, Swisher, MOTM, big fan of Mistum as IGL. I know I just glanced over him, but Swisher is like my de facto favorite right now as far as NA talent. I think he is like the next guy to really take over as like a fan favorite, as like a stud in North America. Just got to get him in some LAN experience. So hopefully ATK really pops off and we start to see them pave the way. So yeah, I really like how Spray has been developing these guys, and I like what the organization has done to house them. So ATK is my number 1 favorite, and then right behind them, I look at EGCD. We're familiar with the core of, Carpe Diem, but then now they've added Stanislaw and Rush. These 2 have enough talent and experience between them, in my opinion, to kind of rest head and shoulders above a lot of these teams in ECL. But then, you pack in those 3 talents with EGCD, combine them with Stanislaw and Rush, and I think these guys are a no-brainer. And I think that these 2 alone, Stanislaw and Rush, make them comfortable favorites. So obviously we'll see how it all gels together. But, we're talking former major winner in Rush, a guy who's made top 8, I believe, multiple occasions in Stanislaw, tenured guy, won multiple big events. Like, this guy should have no problem finding comfort. Obviously, time will tell. Of course, there was some other news not mentioned. BNB, of course, disbanded, and then we got to see the remnants of that lineup kind of come to. We saw Momo and Pluto find a new team, not necessarily an organization. They're still looking. But yes, they are back in action. So, of course, that's something we did not discuss. Davenport University make history, being invited to ECL as the first university to achieve that claim. So congratulations to them. And of course, we have some esports organizations opening venues. So we saw Infinity and Furia across 2 different locations open up their own esports venues. This is becoming an ongoing trend to obviously accommodate the rise of the industry. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, including the ESEA Advanced and ECL tracker for season 41/42. Of course, there is a plethora of roster moves and drama and other goodies that we did not discuss here that you can catch on dust2.us. We are the leading publication in North America for Counter-Strike related news. So, of course, support us. We love it. We love when you guys read our articles. It only helps us grow and helps us do awesome stuff like more podcasts, more shows, hire new people, etc., etc. So, thanks for tuning in to this. Thanks for watching all the other video and listening to all the other audio and reading all of our articles. So that's pretty much all I have for today. Kind of a shorter episode, but we're right in the downswing of the player break, getting ready to hit the regular season. So look forward to one more podcast from me before the player break ends. Of course, follow dust2.us on Twitter for everything North American Counter-Strike related. Follow the podcast Crouch_Peak. Follow me, Lucas at Dust2, and you'll be able to stay in touch with everything as it pertains to NACS. And that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Whatever platform you are using, thank you for your ongoing support, and I will see you or hear you at the next episode. You'll hear me, actually. Thanks. Take care.